Monday, Israel opened this year's session of the Knesset, its legislature. Prime Minister Ariel Sharon discussed the recent terrorist attacks, and opposition leader Shimon Peres criticized the government's policies in the West Bank and Gaza. It's an hour.
The Honorable President and Mrs. Katsav, Mr. Speaker, Knesset members, and distinguished guests, I'm honored to stand before the Knesset with the opening of the winter session in order to remember the events of the recent times and to talk about the policy ahead of us. Lately, the struggle against terror and extremism reached in its height in the Middle East. Since the removal of Saddam Hussein in Iraq, the nations of the Middle East are required to choose one of the paths: to continue in violence while enslaving their people to the horrible results, or to select a new path of denouncing terror, violence, and choosing neighborly and peaceful relationship. Israel has a clear position. Only a rejection of the terror, violence, and the culture of hatred could bring about a new period of peace and prosperity to the nations of the region. In order for it to happen, the Palestinians have to implement the steps they have committed to remove terror, to perform a reform in their midst, to establish a new government which is consistently fighting terror, and to stop the instigation for terror, to dismantle the terrorist organizations, to stop the protection and the financing of the terrorist organizations, and to start acting seriously as they made a commitment. Israel accepted the historic initiative and the vision of President Bush. The government adopted the political policy of the roadmap, along with 14 reservations by Israel, which is a part of this plan. Israel proved in the past that when there is another leadership that does not support terror, as it was during the government of Abu Mazen, we took far-reaching steps toward the Palestinians. Thank you. Knesset member Tibi has heard you. Knesset member Galon, I would like you to keep the dignity of the Knesset. You have questions and answers to the Prime Minister, but not now. We will have credit to each and one of you. I would like Knesset members. We have many guests and many people see us. There is no need to make comments, that unnecessary comments. Knesset members, Knesset member Taleb Ben Sana, I'm starting to call you to order. That is how it will be when the head of the opposition will speak. From this time on, I'm calling you to order. We will take steps with every Palestinian government that will comply with its commitments and will fight terror. Our program is the only hope to obtain a real breakthrough on the path to peace between us and the Palestinians. This is a plan that is acceptable by most of the nations of the world. Any deviation from it will release the Palestinians from their commitment and that they accepted. And from the international request directed toward them to uproot terror. Any deviation will only encourage the terrorist organizations. No wonder they are trying to get a release from this commitment, and it's too bad there are those in the world, and also in Israel, who are willing to assist them by creating alternative plans. Knesset member Galon, you are not the speaker now. I will not tolerate any speeches by you. Knesset member Galon, I'm calling you to order. Knesset member Barakeh. It's hard for people to hear when you interrupt. You are not helping the Prime Minister to carry his speech.
מחדש הוא קרא לו חבר הכנסת ברק אל ראש הממשלה שרון המסית, וחבר הכנסת אפללו קורא לו אתה ראשון המסיתים.
Without the Palestinians taking any step to stop the terror against us, these vis-a-vis the latest bloody events. Knesset member Mahul, you ask slowly, please slowly. Knesset member Dahamshe, I know that you want me to call you to order. Knesset members, I'm telling you, we can't have a situation where the Prime Minister cannot carry his speech. I thank you for your comments. Mr. Prime Minister, please.
אדוני השר, כל קריאות הביניים נובעות בקריאות ביניים מצד זה גם כן. בבקשה, אני אטפל כאשר יהיו קריאות ביניים בלי אשר תהיינה הפרעות נוספות. בבקשה. חבר הכנסת זחאלקה, אני מבין שברגע שחבר כנסת מסיעה ערבית אחרת אומר דבר...
I understand that an Israeli Arab says something, you complain that I make comments, but I make comments regarding everybody. I thank you for all the advice you give me. Please. Knesset member Tali Ben Sana, I call you to order for the first time.
חבר הכנסת ניסים זאב, אני מאוד מודה לך.
Knesset member Nisim Zev, I thank you.
באמת, הוד והדר. רבותיי, חברי הכנסת, ראש הממשלה מדבר.
Knesset members, the Prime Minister is speaking. Whoever will interrupt will be removed. Mr. Speaker, I don't know how they will have the strength to yell like that for another 4 years.
חבר הכנסת אפללו.
Knesset member Aflalo.
תודה רבה.
Thank you.
תודה רבה.
Thank you.
חבר הכנסת.
Knesset member.
חברי הכנסת.
Knesset members.
חברי הכנסת, הרשיתי לכם.
I allowed you
להגיב על דבריו של...
to react
הרשיתי לכם להגיש על דבריו של ראש הממשלה ובזה
to what the Prime Minister said, but this is enough.
על תגובה קצרה יש גם תגובות קצרות. חבר הכנסת רן כהן.
Knesset member Ran Cohen, please.
חבר הכנסת רן כהן.
This vis-a-vis the bloody events since the murder of the families in Haifa, the murder of the embassy, American embassy people in Gaza, and the latest attack near Ofra yesterday, which prove that terror tries to extinguish any hope for us and the Palestinians. To the retreat from peace, there is a clear address. Arafat is the one who failed and attempted to fail any progress. Therefore, he bring about the removal of the Abu Mazen government as it is making it difficult as he is making it difficult to the attempt made by Abu Allah to establish a new government. This man is the greatest obstacle to peace. Therefore, Knesset member Bachul, I call you to order for the second time. Knesset member Dahamsha, I call you to order. Therefore, Israel has determined to bring about his removal from the political scene. This policy of ours, Knesset member Mahul, I'm calling you to order for the third time. Please remove Knesset member Mahul from the session. It cannot be.
במשך 10 דקות חברי הכנסת הפריעו לראש הממשלה, וחבר הכנסת הראשון, עיסאם מחול, לאחר 3 קריאות לסדר, נאלץ לעזור, והסדרנים של הכנסת מלווים אותו עכשיו החוצה, מחוץ לאולם המליאה.
מחול, אני מתנצל בפני חבר הכנסת דאמשה. חבר הכנסת טיבי,
Knesset member Tibi,
אדוני
this policy of ours is more and more understood. The different factors throughout the international community. I'm convinced that we will be able to succeed in this policy. If we will show patience, determination, we will be able to implement the hope within this plan to reach a settlement that will ensure to us and the Palestinians peace. This path for peace is difficult and long and will be accompanied by many obstacles, but we should not lose the hope. I estimate, according to all the information we have, that there is a real chance that in the coming months we will be able to break the freeze that was forced upon us and that we can start moving toward the settlement. This is a period of many shocks throughout the world and especially in our region. Only a few days ago, we heard the president of Malaysia saying stupid things and how the civilized world responded to him. We need time before the Arab world, and especially the Palestinian society, will understand that violence and extremism will only lead them to disaster. If we will be determined and patient, if we will know to wait, if we will stand strong against the attempts to murder and to attack, to weaken us, then we will be able to eat the fruits of peace. In the meantime, we do not stand still. Israel is continuing its policy to separate between the civilian Palestinian population, which does not support her, and between the terrorists and those who send them. We will try to help the civilian population as much as possible, and at the same time, we will chase the terrorists and attack them wherever we can. The IDF and the security forces will continue to act in order to remove the terrorist activities, to catch terrorists and to liquidate terrorist activities. And I would like the Minister of Defense, who stands here, and I know that the Knesset member will join me, to send our congratulations to all the IDF and security forces who guard the citizens of Israel. The IDF and the security forces will continue to act to catch the murderers and to liquidate the terrorists. Along with it, the government decided to accelerate the building of the security fence, which will be an additional obstacle to the terrorist organizations' arrival into Israel. This defense wall is another mean to liquidate terror and illegal penetration into Israel. The government has decided about the timetable to complete the wall without harming the life routine of the Palestinians. The establishment of the fence will be accelerated, and every effort will be made to complete it, including the area around Jerusalem, within a year from now. Knesset members, the striving for peace and security is not only, it is a national mission that everybody is participant of it. There is no reason today. I always believed, and I believe now, that national consensus is very important. Our original plan is supported by most of the public in Israel, and its principles were consolidated during the term of the national unity government headed by me. There is no real reason that we will not be able to act with consensus to implement it. I call upon the people in the Labour Party and to join us in the support of the MAP road with the reservations that were approved by the government, with the hope to have a breakthrough on the road to a settlement that will ensure quiet and peace, because all of us want peace. We all Knesset member Ran Cohen, the Prime Minister is talking to the Labour Party. He is talking to the Labour Party. They respond to you, and they respond to him, and I allow it. All of us want peace. We all accept the fact that it is the duty of the Palestinians to fight terror, and we should not release them from this commitment. We all agree that we should not at this moment reward the terrorists by giving concessions without an agreement. We, of course, do not want to return Arafat to the center of activity, and we all see the need for a new and different leadership in the Palestinian Authority with whom we can advance the political agenda. Therefore, the attempt to advance our common mission can be done with a consensus among us while advancing the real interests of the government of Israel. Knesset members. Also in the our economic social policy, we have done great things. Thank you, Knesset members. This requires a response by all of you, but you can't hear anyone. The next generations will never be able to profit from what you're saying. Ladies and gentlemen, your protest has been heard. Please, Prime Minister. Knesset member Dahamsha, you can't respond to everything because soon you will replace Mahul, Knesset member Mahul. In the coming days, we will lay before the government, the Knesset, the proposal for the 2004 budget with new proposals that will revolutionize the Israeli economy, a continuation of the steps we have started in that was authorized by the Knesset in the previous session. Our principal objective is to keep the stability of the economy and to reduce the public sector in order to bring about real growth by the private sector. We started to reduce the government offices. We closed unnecessary government offices. We closed the regional cooperation office. We are closing the Ministry of Religion, and we will also close the Ministry of Communication. Alongside, we are unifying many other government units. I would like to say to the Knesset members something that I've said during the discussion in the government regarding the Ministry of Religion. I said then I'm a Jew, and for me to be a Jew is a very important thing. I approve the change, the liquidation of the Minister of Religion, but I said I, as a Jew, will not allow to harm anything that is connected to Judaism. I said it to the members of the government very clearly. We deepened. Knesset member Zahava Galon. Thank you. What is Knesset member Galon asked what is the connection with Judaism here? Knesset member Aflalo, you're not helping the Prime Minister. Knesset member Galon, I am releasing you from the obligation to respond to Aflalo. Knesset member Porush, the Prime Minister has heard you. Knesset member Porush. Knesset member Porush, I'm calling you to order. We deepened the competition in the different sectors, and we will continue to dismantle government monopolies in the realm of transportation, water, and the ports, and we will privatize government companies like we have done with the airline industry and the El Al company. In this framework, we turned the Israeli train company into a private company that can raise money by itself and can open new lines and improve services to its customers. What has been done in the last 2 years in the train company is a real revolution. Only in the previous month, we started new stations in 4 different cities: Rosh Ha'ain, Rishon LeZion, in Ashdod, and in Bet Shemesh. Turning the train company to a private company, it will allow it to implement new work plans which will allow the trains to reach many other cities in Israel, including Dimona, Sderot, Netivot, Ofakim, Jerusalem with 2 lines, Modi'in, Afula, Bet Shan, and Carmiel. And in addition, I would like to mention the train station in the University of Be'er Sheva, which will make it easier for thousands of students to arrive there. We have reduced for the first time in the history of the nation, the transfer payments that have become larger in the last years. The percentage of workers in Israel is only 40% out of the whole population, compared to average of 50% in the Western world. It is clear to everybody that we cannot continue to work like we are in a third world country and ask for allowances like in a developed country. To those who work on produce and pay taxes, cannot carry the burden forever. Knesset member Eichler, I'm calling you to order. Please sit down. Please sit down. I'm calling you for the order.
ואדוני לא יקום כשהוא קורא קריאת ביניים. הדבר מביע איזה איום.
I believe that allowances should reach only those who need them. They really need them. To those who really cannot work. Knesset member Barakeh, that's enough. I have registered your question. Ladies and gentlemen, Knesset member Ze'ev, Knesset member Ze'ev, it's enough. Knesset member Dahamshe, it cannot be that every word. Knesset member Dahamshe. Whoever, Knesset member Ze'ev, I'm calling you to order for the second and third time. Please remove Knesset member Ze'ev. Please remove him immediately. Whoever, you heard me say, please remove him,
חבר
please.
הכנסת ניסים זאב מש"ס, מלווה עכשיו על ידי הסדרנים החוצה, הוא חבר הכנסת השני שמורחק על ידי היושב ראש במהלך נאומו של ראש הממשלה, קדם לו איסם מחול.
ראש הממשלה יאמר מה שהוא רוצה.
The Prime Minister will say whatever he says, he wants to say.
בבקשה.
Please.
חבר הכנסת זחאלקה.
Knesset member Zachalka.
לא, אין שאלות ותשובות עכשיו. חבר הכנסת זחאלקה, אני קורא לך לסדר פעם ראשונה.
Knesset member Zachalka, I'm calling you to order for the first time. Whoever can work should go to work and should not live at the expense of the government. In order
זעקתך נשמעה.
in order to create more work, we started a new policy of taking out foreign workers. More than 6,000 foreign workers have already left Israel. In the last year, and it is our intention to continue it. At the same time, we will continue to reform the tax system, to reduce the tax rate of the working sector, and to allow the average worker to earn his wages with dignity. An additional topic. It's enough. Knesset member Eichler, for the third time, I'm calling you to remove Knesset member Eichler.
חבר הכנסת הרב ישראל אייכלר מאגודת ישראל, פניו סמוקות מזעם, והוא אומר אני אצא לבד.
An additional issue is the pension funds. I admit that many have advised us, to me and to the finance minister, not to deal with this issue, because we're talking about a very sensitive issue that if we didn't deal with it would have been doors of the next government. But a responsible government has to go above political considerations. I'm proud of the fact
חבר הכנסת אפללו, אתה לא עוזר לראש הממשלה. חבר הכנסת אפללו, אם אדוני יצעק, גם הוא יצעק. חבר הכנסת גפני, אני קורא לך לסדר פעם ראשונה. אני לא אמרתי לך שיש מה לעשות.
Knesset member Gafni, I'm calling you to order.
מה אפשר לעשות, חבר הכנסת כהן?
What can we do,
חבר הכנסת
Knesset
יצחק
member
כהן, ראש
Cohen?
הממשלה,
The Prime Minister, according to the law, gives a speech, and he is not obligated to answer your questions now. You didn't give him a chance to talk. Knesset member Taleb Ben Sana, I'm calling you to order. Knesset member Galon, we didn't appoint you to be the chorus. We cannot allow for it. Knesset member Tibi. I'm requesting from you to allow the Prime Minister to talk. Knesset member Tibi, maybe you don't hear me. I'm calling you to order for the first time. And I'm calling you to order for the second time. I'm calling you to order for the second time. Knesset member Dahamshe. Knesset member Dalia Itzik, I have respect toward you, but please. The Prime Minister came here in order to speak before you according to the law. You will not create a situation where he will not be able to speak. He will not ask you what to talk about. When you get elected to be prime ministers, then you will say whatever you want to say. And from this point on, any idea you have, please transmit it to the office of the Prime Minister. It's enough. It's enough. I am proud of the fact that thanks to the steps that we have taken and that we intend to take, the citizens of Israel know now, who are members in the pension funds, that their money is insured, something that did not exist 6 months ago. I know that the heavy recession and the adaptation that the economy is undergoing is increasing the distress that part of the population is undergoing. To them, I'm saying there is no other alternative. If we do not make these cuts now, the whole economy will deteriorate and the weaker sector will be harmed the most. Especially, we should denounce the attempts to distract the reforms through threats and strikes. These will not prevent the government from performing its plans. We want to talk to the workers, and I, as somebody who had conducted many negotiations, believe that we can reach agreements, but we cannot paralyze the economy and to harm the weaker people in order to protect the stronger unions. The society in Israel, with all its difficulties, is marching toward a good society, working and creative society. Today, despite all the difficulties, we have a GNP equal to that of many countries in Europe. Instead of arguing about the smaller national cake, we should increase the workplace by creating more work and growth. All of us together, we have to carry the wagon in order to be successful. Knesset members, we have the hope that through the means that I've described, we will have a good year, a year where all of our hopes will be fulfilled for prosperity and for peace. And I would like also to appeal to all the Knesset members. We will have to work together at least for the next 4 years. And I'm saying at least 4 years. All of us were facing challenges, difficult challenges. I would propose here, in a friendly way, as a member of this House, to try to handle the challenges ahead of us in good spirit, quietly, with mutual respect, because, in my opinion, only this way we will be able to respond to the complex problems that are facing us. I would like to wish all the members of this House a successful session, a fruitful session. Thank you very much. I thank the Prime Minister. I'm inviting the head of the opposition, who according to the law is supposed to respond.
כן, ראש הממשלה סיים את נאומו עם הרבה הפרעות, 3 חברי כנסת שהורחקו, ועכשיו נשמע את דבריו של יושב ראש האופוזיציה, הוא יושב ראש מפלגת העבודה, שמעון פרס.
We will now hear Mr. Shimon Peres.
נשיא המדינה, ועכשיו יושב ראש הכנסת מחזיר אל האולם את חברי הכנסת שהורחיק במהלך...
Now the speaker returns the Knesset members he has removed. Knesset members, the head of the opposition, former Prime Minister, Knesset member Shimon Peres. Mr. President and Mrs. Katsav, Mr. Speaker, and dear Knesset members. Let me make a personal comment. I have a lot of friendship personally toward the Prime Minister, and I appreciate many of his qualities. But it doesn't release me from my duty to say true things. Mr. Prime Minister, you have missed the opportunity, and there is no chance that you will correct it, regretfully. I will explain. You have come late. The train has already left the station. You have been late. I would have been very happy if you would have succeeded. Mr. Begin made an agreement. I was the head of the opposition, and I was not a member of the government, and I supported him with all my might. And I don't think it's something personal. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why you missed the opportunities. Whatever you don't do in the first year, it is lost. Begin started immediately. Yitzhak Rabin started immediately. I told you in a friendly discussion many times, you get up one morning, you say, oh, already a year passed by, nothing happened. Another morning, another year has passed and nothing happened. Third morning, there is no third year. Look at the composition of your government. You have a government that allows you to talk, but doesn't allow you to do anything. You have two parties in the government that tell you you can talk about anything, but if you will do anything, we are leaving, and if they will leave, you don't have a government for 4 days. You are dependent on them, and you are banned, and you are stopped by them, and the nation hears and sees. And I also would like to say, personally, there was in my dear friend Lapid, I read what you had to say. You came with a original proposal that I have not heard before. And he proposed to the government He proposed to the government to be creative. What is creativity? Imagine that somebody is running to the primaries and wants to win, and he tells a painter, please be a Picasso. I need creativity. What kind of a creativity do you have here? There is a very hard-nosed position, illogical position. Knesset members. In the Middle East, 8% of the world population reside in the Middle East. Their income is 2% of the world population income. 65% of the terror is concentrated here. And you think, Shaul Mopaz, do you know what will happen here? But whoever wants to make peace, including the Americans, look what they're doing in Iraq. They are fighting the terror, and they tell the Iraqis, we will not stay here. We will get out. We put billions of dollars, and we're not talking about raising the standard of living. What raising the standard of living? Everything is closed. You did not remove the blockades. The standard of living is decreasing all the time. You cannot make peace this way. It took you 25 years to understand that we need a Palestinian country. We will not wait another 25 years that you will understand. We don't have any chance in the world. I already know. No chance in the world. I entered the government with the sincere hope that there will be a roadmap. And today, I look at it as the statistics of accidents, road accidents. There's more road accidents. You will replace the leadership. Shaul Mopaz, my friend, thinks that after Arafat, all of them will be very moderate, sweet, lovers of Israel. What kind of talk is it? We have business with a nation that fights for its freedom, and don't disregard anyone else. I ask you, Mr. Prime Minister, listen, we in Egypt, please don't yell. We had in Egypt Knesset members from the coalition. Knesset member Miki Etan. Knesset member Michael Etan. I know that it's hard for you. With Egypt, Knesset member Aflalo. In Egypt, with Egypt we had 3 agreements. First agreement of separation of forces. Agreement of separation of forces. There was an agreement to separate the forces, and we released the canal before there was a comprehensive agreement. Then Mr. Menachem Begin came, and contrary to what he has said, he evacuated all of the Sinai. As we have done the same thing to Jordan. I commend Ariel Sharon and Bibi Netanyahu that went to meet with Arafat, and we said to him, we will continue Oslo. If Oslo is so bad, why didn't you cancel it? What is the roadmap if not the continuation of Oslo? I know what he's guilty of. Whatever you said, Mr. Prime Minister, is unacceptable. It's illogical. You say to the Israelis, we have no one to talk to the Palestinians. You say, we don't have what to talk about, so what kind of peace do you want? To us, you say, there's nobody to talk to. we find out that we have somebody to talk to. The group that went to Geneva found out that there is somebody to talk to. You say, first of all, please stop the terror. But we're responsible about stopping the terror. Can they do anything about it? Everything is under our inspection, under the inspection of the army. I am joining your congratulations to the IDF, and I do not join your congratulations of the Minister of Defense.
יושב-ראש האופוזיציה ויושב-ראש תנועתך מעל הדוכן, ואתה מנהל קריאות ביניים לראש הממשלה שמזמן כבר סיים את דבריו.
כן, באמת אין צורך בעזרה. אז אני אשיב, כמה יפריעו.
I will respond. I don't know how much longer they're going to interrupt me.
יפה. אני אומר...
I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, Knesset members, explain to me, Shaol Mufaz, why do you need a larger defense budget in order to guard with 2 battalions Netzarim? There is no political or defense need. It is not creative or productive. I would like to say also to the Prime Minister regarding the economy. Knesset member Aflalo, if it wouldn't have been so bad, a Churchillian picture, I wouldn't say Churchillian picture of the situation, but an accurate picture. What are you talking about? The purchasing power of this nation has reduced by 20% in the last 3 years. The income level has been reduced by 8%. There are 300,000 unemployed. I'm telling you, why are you telling them to go to work? I'm telling you, you should go and create places of work. You can create places of work. They cannot create places of work. Why are there 300,000 people who are unemployed? What is happening? Are you so satisfied with what is happening in the development towns? Are you happening with the soup kitchens, with the horrible poverty, with hurting the students? You should talk to yourself the truth. Knesset members of the Likud, you should understand where you are. You know that it is a miserable situation. You have created 2 nations, a nation of rich people, because we cannot talk about the territories. We cannot talk about the expenses in the territories. A fence that is going to cost much more than it's supposed to, because you have to make so many compromises for the different sections. This is not a real fence. It is not a security or political fence. It is a coalition fence. What are you talking about? Where are you sending the unemployed? From that you started. How many jobs is this government creating, or have you created? Nothing. You have only retreated. Knesset member Shochat, the head of the opposition, is not limited in time. You will have to respond to the central members of the Likud. They will go to Ashdod and see how they will respond to you. They will hit you. From this moment on, I am not, he is only talking to me. Knesset member Chazan. Knesset member Herzog, I'm calling you to order. In one thing I agree. Who was the creative sector, the kibbutzim? And who is this government hurting? people who have worked from sundown to sunset, people who work the land, you destroy them. And you also want to destroy the Histadrut, the labor unions.
אני יודע בדיוק. חבר הכנסת איוב קרא, אני קורא לך לסדר פעם ראשונה. בבקשה.
אנחנו לא נסכים.
We will not agree and we will fight that you will destroy on behalf of Lieberman. You were so excited about what somebody in the delegation in Geneva have said. And if somebody in the government, if your government said that we have to bomb Aswan, then Damascus, then this is serious? And you don't say a word about that? What kind of impression it is? And then there are generals who discuss publicly, should we kill Arafat or shouldn't we kill Arafat? This is how we discuss things in an orderly nation. The labor unions is part of the democracy of Israel. The workers are allowed to organize and protect their rights. They are not fighting for their wages. I know Amir Peretz no less than somebody else. He doesn't want any strikes, but he wants decent rule games, even like in the United States. What do you want to do? Do away with the labor unions? And everybody will be subjugated to the clerks of the government. The workers of the ports are productive workers. You broke agreement. They are allowed in labor relations. If you want stability, economic stability, only through negotiations. And I know we can negotiate with the labor unions. And they have negotiated with you things that they didn't agree to negotiate with me, and all of a sudden you get up in one morning and you try to force on them new laws. Continue talking to them. You are allowed to invite the head of the labor union and to negotiate with him. Who is interested in these strikes? I do not want to show now my muscles because I don't want to remind of somebody else. Now I want to say one more thing. The government wants an additional thing, that not only the government will have a monopoly on conducting negotiations, but it has a monopoly on how to think and to make proposals, and then and how did you say national consensus? And only to agree to what you said. Why can't we hold meetings? I read the Geneva Agreement. They have proposed a model for a permanent solution. Leave me alone with the government of Switzerland. I read the agreement. If you have complaints, go to the government of Switzerland. People have left for Switzerland, and they wanted to do two things. First of all, to show that we have somebody to talk to, and they show that we have somebody with who to talk to, and that we have what to talk about. And even though I don't agree with everything they have agreed upon, but Dennis Ross is allowed to invite Palestinians, and nobody here says anything, and nobody is sending a protest letter. Every institute has a right. These people did not say, I know you have a dispute with the Swiss government, and you should go to there and talk to them. What do you want from the Israelis? They go and talk. Excuse me. You do not divide the nation into instigators or non-instigators. We all have the same right, and we are allowed to have contacts with the Palestinians. We will hold contacts and talks, and we will not be afraid of any of you. Mr. Speaker, the right to search. Knesset member Ramon. Knesset member Ramon. The right to search for peace is a basic right. The right to sign an agreement is the right of the government. But we cannot talk with the Arabs. You even said that we will wait until they mature. Why can we, if we talk with Jordan that has Palestinians, we return to them what they deserve. And you are not willing to return what they deserve. Why do we have peace with the Egyptians? You want everybody to give in to you. What? We will not accept it. Nobody can control our thoughts or our speeches or our contacts or our desire for peace. We will accept. You're obligated to negotiate, but we have the right to talk and to propose models. And this is the right of every citizen, because don't call them instigators. The good spirit that existed in the first period has been replaced. Instead of the spirit of unity, there is a spirit of division. Instead, a nation of solidarity, two nations, one that is suffering, is poor, and is not represented, and the rest has either political or financial protection. We do not have any confidence in this government.
Go to our website.